Ooh, right. How's it going, everybody? Real Diversity here. We are back with another video. I just want to talk really quickly, if I get rid of this ad here of the most I guess you can say, I wanted to say most important cards of the set, the key cards of the set, if you will. Not sure on exact wording, but the most important cards that are gonna have immediate impact in the meta. In total. This is actually one of those sets where I think there's a lot. Well, first of all, we got Stadium, so that's just a big meta cool change, if you will. It just plays a big role in like just the game going forward. So it is a big kind of like key turning point of adding a card that exists in the actual TCG. So anytime you add something like this, the complexity of the game, like, it increases. It almost like brings the game. It just makes the game way more complex. The more it's card types like this they add, so it really just opens up the game even more, and it sometimes just almost even energizes the game, if you will. Just makes a lot of things like older cards and things like that viable now. So things like that we had all this time, we just never had any way of using it. They now become useful, and things like that. So this is one of those sets I think it does really well at opening, just busting open the meta, just wide open again. And I think last set did, not last set, but the first B1 set really did that as well. Just kind of really changed, and we weren't just stuck with like Suicune Greninja every single day. So, but they were still Suicune Greninja and Hydreigon were still definitely just the dominant. But either way, we had other options, if you will. So first thing I want to talk about stadiums. These just all three just automatically are just key cards. Just because one, they counter each other, so you need one stadium to replace another one. So, but they all do have a lot of value, and we'll see some play. The training area is the one that may see the least amount of play, because stage one decks are a commodity, if you will. But there are definitely stage ones now that may benefit quite a bit from this at plus 10, to make them more viable, especially now that we have a supporter that fishes that out. So all the stadiums will be key cards, starting planes, basic months, and now everyone's gonna have to rework their math a little bit when it comes to the basics. And then the psychic deck has this own particular plaza, which is pretty much gonna make all those psychic decks really great. And another card too I'll mention later benefits heavily from this plaza card, I think, specifically in other decks. As far as the support cards go, Juggler is one I don't really want to point out too heavy, but I think Juggler it has potential. The first thing that pops in my mind is maybe Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh is a card that is attaching three different energies, so that automatically kind of opens the door for you quite a bit, if you do get an attack off with Ho-Oh. But that takes quite a bit of setup, and but another deal, I think I mentioned her earlier too, and that's why I waited to make this video, is that with Juggler also, you can also play something like maybe like a baby Pokemon and like a Giratina. In that combo, you have psychic energy coming from Giratina, and then you have a baby that's able to maybe throw some energy on that Giratina, and you're setting something else up essentially to maybe get all this energy, and do something with it. And I can't remember if there was a card that did anything with different energy types or not, but yeah, but you can essentially play a card like that. Salamence is a card I think of that has fire and water, but again, just time. We not 100% sure yet how this can work. So I won't really point this one out too much, but I will say this is something I think people will find a way to make that work, and then we'll be genuinely shocked because it just has unlimited potential with a card like that. So, Sightseer, this is a really interesting card. Look at the top four cards of your deck and pull all stage one Pokemon you find there. So this is really good at helping us kind of get to that middle stage evolution, something finally to help benefit that. And also, if you're running like a Mega, you have Serena too. So really, we've got quite a bit of support cards now that can kind of draw for us. And this is kind of not as great as like what's his name? That was Search for Magneton, Cosmo, or what? Cameron, I forget his name, the one that searches for the magneton and the other Helicus. That one is the pretty much the only stage one searcher we had in previously. Now we can potentially look. It would have been better if we just were guaranteed to get a stage one, but that may have been too broken. But so top four, which is quite a bit. Maybe top five would have been a lot better in my opinion. But anyways, not gonna complain too much, but better than nothing for stage ones. Now get a little bit, hopefully benefit Diantha. Of course, this card is very much anticipated, and it's going to be paired mainly with Mega Gardevoir. Protective Poncho, super good card. The first protection we have against Greninja, or any sniping as that matters, especially now since there's so much sniping going on, especially with the cards in this new set. And then Metal Core Barrier, not to nothing too crazy, but again, it's another card for trainers to have for metal. So metal again, um, it is looking pretty solid. And also on top of this, I think there is a card that you can get this back with it as well that we will see later. Lucky Ice Pop, not really something I don't think would have too much impact, but if you do happen to flip heads here, and this is an actual TCG, you can look up and end up just getting this card again, so it'd be like double potion almost, back to back, if you will. Wait, can you get this in the same turn? Flip a coin, put this in the back into your hand instead of discard. Oh yeah, so you can actually do this in the same turn too if you're lucky enough. You can infinitely heal. So, but I'm not gonna point this out. I'm not gonna point out really any coin flips unless they're just that important. But yeah, so those are I pretty much almost point out almost everything here, but except Piers. But even though this actually isn't that bad of a card, but because again, it's items in support. So, and stadiums are just that important. So yeah, they're all key and important in this meta now. And everything else that is pretty much gonna be important. I think coming forward, Kangaskhan is a card. I'm gonna go to EXs first. Kangaskhan is a card. I don't think Mega Kangaskhan, excuse me, is a card that may not see too much play. Don't think that's gonna be a key card, and we may. But again, I could be wrong there, unless there's some way where every time you attack, it has some effect where there is a benefit to double attacking. So again, this card was super strong in the actual Pokemon game because I think you if you use this attack, it did things twice. So if you did like Power Up Punch, your attack would increase twice. So there's I only see a negative to this is like if you attack twice into something like Rocky Helmet. So I don't really see anything beneficial from attacking twice, unless again, I'm not sure what you could do that would benefit you from attacking twice into somebody. Unless I guess if you're like confused, maybe, and you can get maybe the second break confusion earlier by having to attack twice here. Confusion is something to think about. But yeah, other than that, not too sure what benefits from that. Smurgle, an interesting card. Not sure if this will be key, but it is a card I wanted to point out that may play a big part. Is it does allow you to randomly look at a random support card and use that ability in your opponent's hand. So if they're using research copycat or something like that, you can gain a lot of benefits from gaining draw cards. But sometimes this is pretty niche because if your opponent has obviously very niche support cards, then you're not going to benefit from those. But if they have something good like a Sabrina, Cyrus, anything like that, you can use. Oh, and also what's the turn? And I'm not sure how the exact word. I'm not sure. Can you repeat this, or can you? So if I get research, can I just keep using research every turn, or does every single turn I have to look at their hand and pick another? Or is it random every single turn? Or if I get one effect, can I keep that effect? So I'm not sure on that either. If you get a good effect, you can keep it, didn't it? Then that's really broken in my opinion, but I doubt it. I think you're gonna probably have to randomly pick every single turn. So that is another card I just wanted to kind of look at. If you obviously running this with a center lady, not too bad of a card, honestly, in my opinion, 150 for a one prizer, for just 3 energy. Again, you go to sleep every turn with him, but that's not too bad. There's a lot of ways around that. Center lady, item. There's a barrier, so a berry or so that I think heals that. So there is ways around that. Nothing too crazy. Also Meowth, just kind of a new draw. This is better than the old Meowth in my opinion because you can survive a lot longer, I guess, technically with this one. And then this one actually also, I guess you can Alicia with, but not that that's too relevant. But yeah, Salamander is not too great. But it does do 150. 150 does seem to be, there is like a kind of a power creep now where a lot of these new Pokemon, they all are usually swinging for 150 for 3 energy. We'll see this again, or at least pretty high. They're swinging like a lot of them swinging really hard right like these days. So, which is really great to see. Put their field power increase. Mega Mao. So this is definitely going to be a card that's going to get played. And yeah, it's a card that's, it has the ability to increase its power after every turn you use it. Cards like this usually aren't the greatest, but this affects stacks. So if this card is inactive for quite a while, like 2, 3 turns, you're doing heavy damage. So this card can rack up really quickly on how much damage it is doing, especially after like 3 turns. It'd be really tough to deal with. So you have to pretty much deal with this thing quickly. If your opponent goes second least with this, or don't even have to leave with this. Maybe they just have something like a basic. Again, you can set this up relatively easy. Maybe they just run like a baby Pokemon. It doesn't matter what the baby is. And they just, once they come in, they're swinging for 60. So, but again, you can deal with that pretty easily early but again, that's into whatever this is hitting is swinging for 60, then 90. So it's doing 150 in its first 2 turns, and then after that, it's straight up just doing 120. So that's pretty threatening to almost anything. But yeah. But I think coming in like Mega Altair, if Mega Altair comes into this thing, it's gonna survive. No matter how long Mega Mawaw's been up, like Mega Altair comes in swinging for 130. But again, there is so much. The 170 isn't a lot, but again, there's a stadium now that boosts basic HP, and then also on top of that, like a giant cape, and don't forget all of the steel type reduction stuff that's going on too. So, it's pretty threatening, pretty threatening. Not that this is going to see too much play, but Guzzlord, I thought this was pretty interesting. You flip a coin, if heads, discard your opponent's active Pokemon. So that can pretty much just get rid of anything your opponent has built up with all this energy, XYZ, whatever. You can just get rid of that with a coin flip. Now I don't think we're gonna see play. But I don't think how, I don't know, I mean, how much people thought the old Guzzlord was gonna see play either, but this, could be potentially viable. Who knows? Who knows? It's just figuring a way to set up that energy, I think, with that. And running a wheel, you have to set up some energy, then run a wheel, and it's pretty threatening, with the right setup, I think. But you do no damage either, so it's pretty much like just get rid of your opponent's win condition or win card, and then you have to do something else. So I don't know. I think it may be too much actually. Also, dig up first Galarian Perseeker. Once to return, when you play this Pokemon from your hand and evolve one of your Pokemon, you may put 2 random tool cards from your discard. So again, this also helps with the metal core barrier we saw earlier. So you can almost just keep getting that if you're running this like on the bench or so. Okay. Oh, okay, Alolan Muck. This card. Okay, this card doesn't have too much going for it. I was like, okay, not too much going for it. I made a video earlier where I did a complete breakdown. If you guys are interested, in, like just me going over every single card in the set, I did a video that's already on my channel. Muck was a card I was like, okay, what is going on here? Nothing too crazy, but basic Pokemon in play. Yours opponent have no ability. Now, is this anything crazy? No. Until I thought deeply about it, I was like, okay, the first things I was thinking about, was obviously the stuff in this set. I'm like, okay, well, that's Mimikyu. I mean, yeah, Mimikyu and like, um, Ogrepon and things like that. I'm just thinking of some stuff in the set, right? Stuff like that, or even this actually is even something like Giratina takes away his ability. But one of the biggest things I thought about recently, after the video, was Oricorio. This actually stops Oricorio's ability. So the fact that now you could attack an EX could attack Oricorio. So maybe like it's unfortunate Muck is like a stage one, but this is a potential tech card you could throw in a deck where your main hitter is EX. And just have, let me see, how much is Grimer to retreat? To retreat, I wonder if there's a lower Grimer with a, well, it has to be a lowland too though, so interesting. I'm not sure. Someone may figure something out here. But wasn't there a Muck? Just, I think Muck may also have, I don't know if they apply, they may not apply for a lowland Muck, but I know Muck does also his himself have. Let me see, because if his trainer card doesn't specify Galarian, maybe not. Oh, it does say, okay, it has to say, okay, then maybe not. Maybe I was like, there are some other some porter cards for Muck, but I think those are for the original Muck. So, but again, there's something to note. Now, I don't think it'll get too much attention, but this could stop word choreo as well, but also just any super important basic Pokemon you can think of. This that has an incredible ability. This can stop. Oh, Suicune! I forgot there's other thing too. Suicune and stuff. It can stop that as well. Um, what does he play in? I'm assuming in the right deck, but I don't think you would just play this just as a tech card, but in certain decks, maybe this does see a lot of play. I'm not sure how you would fit that in, but just know that is actually a really strong ability that was just put on a very bad like type. So yes, uh, Gigalift. Okay, so Giglif, I read this earlier wrong. I thought you could do 140 every turn. I didn't read the second part during your next turn. So I thought this Pokemon was actually really solid for at least if you plays with Pansemian or so, get this thing going. Gigalith comes in, just two shots anything, and you win the game. You two shots anything anywhere, you win the game. But yeah, but so you can only attack once. So you come in and attack once, then you're just dead for two turns. So there is a way around this, which, I mean, considering you wouldn't have too much going on anywhere around this, maybe you do have the will, the way you throw in the right workaround. Maybe you can get around with that too much. I don't think too many people talk too much about this card, but I think Machamp actually looks really solid. Obviously, also Machop has the one and only Pokemon that right now can discard a stadium and play. But also other than that, I think Machamp actually is really decent of a card. I don't think he's getting too much attention, but for 150 HP, for 80 damage, and you're discarding your opponent's Pokemon deck, I think it's not a bad card at all. And maybe you can even, if you want, to just throw in like the EX Machamp, just for funsies. But it's not as great because you don't get the effect. But I think this is better anyway because you can attack much sooner. You can even pair this with like a rare candy or not. You can, keep that middle stage in there, but pair this with like a rare candy and attack 80. Not a bad card at all. Also, Sandslash kind of not that bad either. If you go first and then your second turn, you can potentially hit for 90. But obviously, you're not likely going to hit that, but you have a chance for swinging for 60, just for one energy, and that's not too bad. Or even just at worst, just 30 for one energy, not bad. Just start off with and just keep flipping, and you never know. That might actually, this isn't too crazy bad. At first, I was like, that's nothing, but for just a stage like one, for just one energy and the chance of hitting for 90, this has high potential. Even like, remember like Jolteon needed two and it could swing for potentially I remember Jolteon. Jolteon was always consistently hitting for at least, half the damage you needed, like 80 or something. So, Jolteon's very similar to that. Mimikyu, this is gonna see play, of course. has the ability where the disguise, where when this Pokemon is first damaged by an attack after coming into play, prevent damage from the Pokemon. I think someone was saying they were saying Dark Rock Giratina coming back. I don't know if like they were saying it's like to disrupt like this is to say, but Dark Rock does not disrupt this. It says damage from first damage by an attack. So like Dark Rock Ping doesn't like stop this. The Dark Rod Ping does do damage. It just doesn't stop this though. So what else do we got here on the G? So like I said, Mimikyu is pretty good. Okay, sorry. And this card's okay, not too great, but it's pretty much acts like a Mars, but it's not as great in my opinion as Mars because you only do it the turn you evolve it again. If you can do it like every single turn, it'll be pretty good, but you do it the turn you evolve, and you might as well just run Mars because this is now you have to play two cards. But if you're just running like maybe if you just have like a psychic deck where you have a bunch of psychics, which is a viable thing nowadays because I would say this. Um, we do now have Meloetta, so let me get to that, and I would say maybe this is a valuable card. All right, so I'm gonna interrupt that like twice in like 2 seconds. Okay, so Meloetta is pretty strong because at the beginning of your turn, if this Pokemon, and I think I missed this earlier through my thing, so I am sorry. I don't think I pointed this out earlier in my breakdown. For some reason, I don't know, I missed it. But anyways, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, put a random Psychic Pokemon from your deck into your hand. A really strong card. Um, really strong card. If because every turn it's pretty much like a selective Suicune, but not only that, this is at the beginning of the turn, so it's like you do this every turn. So this is almost one of the most like again we talk about Suicune super strong for its ability and one of the best cards in the meta because of its ability and it does a lot. It does a lot actually, but because of its ability mainly it allows it to have a super high draw function. But this also is very good, especially in a deck where you want to get all your Pokemon out early. Getting Pokemon, this is more important than getting, most of the time you're looking for something. So this is more important, in my opinion, than just drawing a random card. So this is probably, in my opinion, the strongest effect now in Pocket. It maybe, well, maybe I think it's up there. It's definitely automatically top five. I think for sure. I don't know how you get better than this, but I think this is definitely an ability that just changes the psychic the meta for sure. It keeps you're just able now to just draw a lot consistently now. You're not worried about anything really. So indeed, nothing too crazy here, but again, this compare well with compare with Mega Gardevoir. Now, of course, Mega Gardevoir, this is the card everyone has been talking about and looking at. This is everyone's already been building sets around this thing. They it would have been funny if maybe they should have just not showed this, but they knew this was their new card that's gonna hit the meta and knew was gonna just hit running. So one of those cards. To me, not that great, but I think with his supporters, it is really strong. So, but yeah, it has its effects, and also I haven't seen too many builds, but I just know I'm gonna know how we're gonna know pretty soon how oppressive or unimpressive this deck is day one for sure. Toxicity not that great. We're not gonna talk about him too much, but yeah, but I'll just play Ampharos or something like that. Um, Alolan Raichu, no, I didn't see not too much benefit with Alolan Raichu, but again, it does have a decent effect with no retreat when there's a stadium. So, I did forget too, 100, 10 plus more damage. So the stage one stadium actually, does help this card out. And I guess any of the other Alolan Raichu and just other Raichus in general too, though. Maybe have to revise them and see if that 10 damage if those numbers counts calculations help out or anything like that now. So, but again, something to note, just something to note. Now, I wouldn't say call that a key card or anything like that. And also the other big, do we already go through fighting? I'm sorry. What I just realized is we passed, Tyrantrum. I just thought about it because he was just like, wait, we have not talked about this card yet. Gigalith just made me, he just caught all my attention there. But this is an interesting card too. Um, the new and improved Rampardos, if you will. I wouldn't say improved, but just another option to Rampardos. Because you can pretty much just slot this into any deck that was running Rampardos, and it would play should play pretty close to the same. That this thing just comes in and you're able to. The only issue is Rampardos doesn't take much energy, so you can always just kind of play it later. You do have to build this up though. 3 energy. So you need something maybe just to shield for until this thing gets out, and you're swinging for 180, and that's gonna one shot just about anything that is not a mega. And or one of those super high EXs like a EX Venusaur or something like that. But this is gonna one shot anything non mega, and it's gonna one shot some of the basic megas too. So, very strong card. And then you have to no downside to it like Rampardos either. So you just swing 180, and if you have fewer, so you just want to probably just play this this and maybe two fossils just to make sure and then just discard the other fossil when it's time to go. And your opponent should almost always usually have 2 cards, especially if you haven't knocked anything out. And it better worse, even not into decks that like Suicune and Mega Altair. They're always gonna have more bench than you most likely if you're just keeping 1 or 2 cards. So they're always gonna have more than you. So this easily gonna be able to just consistently hit for 180 with no downside really. So yeah, you just set this thing up. Maybe put that cape on it and don't worry about it getting pinged or anything like that. And you're just good to go. It comes in 180 twice, just back to 180. Yeah, and nothing you really can do at that point. And the effect is easy, conditions easily met. So I think that I'm definitely looking to make a deck if I get that card early to think of making a deck with it for sure. Um, Swampert, I think Mega Swampert really quickly. I think he was the only one I want to really talk about. Oh, send me this. Cryogonal, hopefully I'm saying it right. This is pretty much the water version of um Chingling now. So if it's kind of like a Chingling, but this does more damage than Chingling. It has more HP than Chingling, but it has a retreat cost. But it's still a basic, and you have to attach energy to it. So it's kind of pros and cons, but not too bad. Not too bad. In terms of just a good stall while you're setting up. Maybe if you're playing Swampert or something. Also, Cramorant. Let's take this 30. So water's very own version of Heatmore. I'm sorry, yeah, it is Heatmore. So here you go, your very own Heatmore. He has 80 HP, does the same exact thing. So, same HP, same attack. All right, so Swampert, strong armor destroyer. So, discard 2 energy from amongst the energy of all attached to all Pokemon. So Swampert can be hit by his own effects. Sometimes you have effects that'll say like this Zapdos earlier, right? One other Pokemon. So one other Pokemon. This means anything not this Zapdos. So with this Swampert though, he is included in his own effect. So Mega Swampert here has a potential to lose 2 of his own energy. So this can be detrimental because it prevents you from attacking next turn. So that can be troublesome. Secondly, I wonder if this effect happens before your opponent like is knocked out. So say I knock out my opponent, will this happen that before or after that? So this is not too bad into like Gardevoir, because Gardevoir is gonna be, I mean Mega Gardevoir, they're gonna have so mumuch energy maybe in place that you swing for that 150, and they're most likely going to maybe not even be able to play Diantha or anything like that, or just they're more likely going to be the ones that lose energy into something like that, right? So you should maybe feel favored into certain matchups. Alola Ninetales, it is what it is, but this is a decent card, I think, in the right situations. Especially actually, we just talked about Cramorant. I think you can actually run that exact Cramorant play I was just speaking of, and this could be your new Mega Blaziken in a sense. And you're just kind of sniping, and maybe you just snipe, hit what you need, pull it out, and keep it stuck maybe. And where it can't retreat or anything like that. Whatever they're trying to build up, maybe you pull it out before they finish building it up. Whatever, and then it's stuck. So this has a lot of potential. Also with that Cramorant as well. This reminds me too. You could also now play this with Kingdra. Never seen much play, but Kingdra have the ability to pull and trap cards now. So I could never make Kingdra work, but with Cramorant, maybe now, and with all the draw cards, maybe now you could make Kingdra work for sure. Maybe if you pull something early, and just trap it, So that has a lot of potential there. So especially just pull a mega and it's stuck there, and it may not be able to one shot Mega Kingdra or something like that, right? So Cinderace I thought was decent during the next turn. It's Pokemon can't attack, and you just gotta set that up. And because it retreats for free, you just gotta set up a way for you to bounce right back in. But for 120, not too bad. For 2 energy, um, uh, Bouncy Felon, if I'm saying that right. This is potential meta. We know this is a beast, ultra beast, and I meant to point out any other ultra beasts I did note. They all are affected by the same ultra beast cards and things like that. So you can definitely run this card um with the other ultra beast supporter cards and things like that, and you can get your energy back the next turn. So and it's meant to, I guess, be ran with that. So you get your 2 energy back, and you throw another flame. So you can attack with this consistently. And yeah, I don't see anything wrong here. You get the early burn. It's only an EX2 and it's a basic, so early burn, you go first. Uh, yeah, not too much to say here, but the thing this is definitely just a meta card. It's gonna get played. I don't just can't think of immediately of like how the deck would work, but I think you would just maybe just lead with this thing and just maybe you can even treat it like you could even maybe potentially treat it similar to Buzzwool or just like maybe Guzzlord even. I mean they all function like this. You can I'm sure I could probably just slot this into my Guzzlord deck and it may probably just work just all the same. Just funny enough. So yeah, Ogerpon with this one the Teal Mask Ogerpon, which also was really important in TCG, the normal TCG. It had a really strong grass effect. But for this one, each of your opponent that has energy. So again, mind you, too, you can splash this because this says each of your Pokemon that has any energy attached recovers from all special conditions and cannot be affected by any special. Oh, I didn't even think about this earlier, but I was looking at Slack King and I was like, Slack King. Slack King, there's so much for Slack King. Yeah, just throw this in the Slack King deck, and Slack King will never go to sleep. So, there you go. Slack King soft. I just thought about that. And I think that's all I want to talk about without making this video crazy long. And there's nothing else too crazy as far as I know. Eldegoss, I'm trying to think, just since it's in stage 1, make sure full and all attached cards into the. Yeah, not too crazy. Okay. Not stage 1, a little Marowak. I guess the other Marowak can also get that benefit now with the so now Marowak can swing. What's Marowak doing? He was doing 90 per tail flip. Now he does 100, I guess, for a flip. That's that. No, I guess he does. If you just do, he does an extra 10. So potentially either 100 or like 190, I think. Right. So, anyways, if you guys did enjoy this, I don't want to make this video too long. Please show me some support and hit the thumbs up on the video. And shortly after this, you guys should see some pack opening videos or anything like that on my channel. So if you're interested in that, we are also if you're just here because like the interest in cars or anything like that, and you just want to hear my opinion on that, that's awesome too. I'm also always in Master Ball rank, and I was in top like 2000 like last, not this one but the season before last, because this season I have too much time to get, but I'm normally I'm normally in high in the Master Ball rank. So if I know what I'm talking about when it comes to battling too, and I always make some good decks, things like that. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, feel free to hit that subscribe button. We got a lot of content coming. And yeah, I'm just loving where Pocket's at right now. So if you guys are enjoying this and have enjoyed my yapping and talking, and feel free, like I said, to subscribe, and don't forget social report, thumbs up, like, comment, and don't forget to sub